So the battle between Shiki and Dragon Joe is finally over, which Dragon Joe has started to turn old, which means that he can no longer battle due to his condition. But Weiss had decided to pull out his gun and actually point it at Joe because he actually will take his revenge on Joe for killing his mother. But we actually knew that this was actually what Weiss wanted to do, so he could actually kill him. Or he could actually think and actually do what Shiki actually wanted him to do. Because he told him that he cannot move. But Weiss doesn't care. He actually still wanted to kill Joe because he told him how could he actually be friends on someone who kills their loved ones, because we actually knew that's what Weiss wanted to do. But we actually seen Shiki trying to talk some sense into Weiss. But we actually saw Dragon Joe act, lay out his hand and actually asking Weiss to give him his life. But Weiss, well, any dog, shoot 3 bullets at Joe. But they were actually missed because Weiss actually knew Shiki was right. So he threw his gun out of his hand and actually will make peace with Joe. Because Saber actually appeared and actually knew what he actually did. That's when Moscow and Pigno and Amira actually arrive as well, which they were actually surprised that Shiki had defeated Joe, in which Rebecca and Homura is actually arrive as well, which Homura actually remembered Amiru from Digilus, but we actually can tell that they actually saw in his dreams that he won't actually make his friends cry, which coming from the guy who actually burst out in tears as well. But after the battle, we actually saw how Eden Zero left, which of course we saw the organization from Pigno's testimonial that the organization has taken him into custody, which we actually knew that the warship will be constructed, but an investigation will carry out. However, it will actually use as a space colony for everybody to live there, and also the residents' life forces will now be restored. However, we saw Weiss in his room actually talking with Saver, and he actually knew about the investigation, in which he actually wanted to talk to him about something else, which is the appendage that he actually did steal, which it turns out that Weiss was the one who gave Saver the pendant. So we actually can see that that Dragon Joe had cut off his arm, in which we actually knew what what he'll do. So we actually can tell that Weiss forgive Saber because Saber is jealous of his new life. So we can tell that Weiss is already forgive Saber. And of course, we saw La Villa actually taking a tour of the ship, which, despite Homura's ignorance, we actually seen the room. However, we actually seen Jin and Sylph actually appeared, which of course, La Villa actually is irate. However, we actually can tell that they are actually going to work together with the Four Shining Stars. And of course, we actually knew that Rebecca actually mentioned Connor because they actually didn't know who Connor is because they really don't know. And that's actually the effect of the cat lemur because of the time travel powers. And the after battle of the Belial Goer is finally over, which Dragon Joe has been taken into custody and Weiss sparing his life. And Weiss got his mother's appendant back from Saver, in which we actually can tell that Jin and Sylve have already staying in Eden Zero. But what actually is surprising is that nobody remembers Connor because it actually is the effect of the time travel powers because they don't actually have any memories of nobody they actually met. So we actually can see what Rebecca is going to do on the next chapter next weekend. So anyway, like this video, subscribe for more, and comment what you think about the manga chapter. You guys can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and my Facebook page. Until then, this anime guys right here saying sign out. Laters and be safe.